Family, listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
All right, everybody, welcome in. Semi-final edition, Real Talk Fantasy. Jesse King's in the house. Mike Everlett's in the house. I'm, of course, Rob Brinkman. We got it all covered. Semifinals, one step away from competing for a championship. We got news, notes, injuries, an Eagles-Giants fantasy preview Christmas Day. 3 games on Christmas Day, 2 games on Saturday, the Thursday night game, and the rest of the games are on Sunday. As always, hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. We are broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram. Download us wherever you get your podcast, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Each and every episode here on Real Talk Fantasy is brought to you by Baggio's Breads, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the show, our poll question, you guys had a little showdown in a league that you participate in together. How'd that go, Mike?
Beat Jesse by 9 points. So
By
I'll be
9
moving on
points.
to the next round. Jesse goes home, and he gets to figure out how to make his dynasty team better next year. Start with that rookie draft.
Jesse, I got to push here because in the pre-show, we've been talking about Mostert being in our group chat and on the air here. Raheem Mostert is the MVP of fantasy based on his 20. I think he's got 20 now. He leads the league in rushing touchdowns based on his draft value, that he's the MVP of fantasy. He's on your bench, 2 touchdowns. Ooh, what happened?
So that league is on Sleeper. And one thing I love about the Sleeper app is that they show you your overall percentage for like how good you are at starting your best team. I did not explain that well, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So, like kind of like best ball, right? Where the best ball algorithm goes through and automatically starts your best lineup. Sleeper shows you your percentage of actually starting your best lineup week to week. And I think any fantasy manager can sympathize with me where this was just one team where I just could not start my best lineup. I had the horses, didn't start them. Why did I start Mostert when I've been heralding him all year and all that? I started Achane. And I started Kenneth Walker. And I didn't – this was one of the first weeks I didn't want to start 2 of the Miami Dolphins. But it was my fault. It's one of those teams where I could have won. I had the horses to do it, and it falls back on me as the manager to put the right horses out there. Mostert should have been started not over Achane, over Nuke Hopkins, and that's where I messed up on this particular team. Last minute I moved out Olave because he got benched. I don't know if I didn't put enough thought into it. I don't know if I was over tinkering because, it was Sunday morning. I don't know what the mistake was, but I know there was a mistake. And I put Nuke Hopkins in, hoping that he'd at least be able to put up a decent game, against his former team, the Texans. And he did not. He put up 4 points. Yeah, he put up 4 points. Meanwhile, Mostert went on to set the single season Dolphins record. And I think 20, right?
Yeah, he's about 20, I think.
Yeah, 20 rushing touchdowns, and still a couple weeks to go. So yeah, that's a shame. The only safety. So there is a next year.
All right, let's get into it. Eagles, Giants, 4:25, Christmas Day at the Link. That is our premier matchup of the week because of the hometown bias that me and Jesse have and the hatred that Mike has for the Philadelphia Eagles. Our poll question tonight, The Philadelphia Eagles core four are must starts in the fantasy playoff semifinals. Now, when I say the core four, I mean Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and I threw Dallas Goedert in there. Did not include DeAndre Swift in the core four for the Eagles because they have no interest in giving him the football ever. So, later in the show, I have quite a couple of quandaries regarding DeAndre Swift. Mike, you're the outsider. You're the hater. The core four are must starts for the Philadelphia Eagles against the New York Football Giants at the Link on Christmas 4/25.
I have to say yes. Jalen Hurts is going to be another week removed from his illness. So I think he's going to be playing better. He's not going to be, hopped up on IVs all day, trying to stay hydrated, battling that cold. A.J. Brown, he's going to put up his points. I think he's the most obvious. Devonta Smith, him as well. I think Goedert would probably be the weakest of the starts for me. But, Jalen had that game at the end of the game if he had just taken some of those checkdowns instead of going deep for the hero ball. So I wonder if Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni's in Jalen's ear to be like, hey, listen, you don't always have to go for that home run. Try and get the short passes. So I think that's where that would benefit Goedert and Smith the most. But against the Giants, I'd absolutely start all four of them. They're worth it. And unless you have a better option at tight end, he's the only one that I could consider not starting.
Jesse, your thoughts on the Eagles offense?
You got to start your studs. You got to start with the horses that got you here. That's if anything, if you learned anything from my little tirade before, stick to your guns. You start your horses. Now's not the time to get cute. Definitely not Sunday morning right before the matchups. That's not the time to tinker. It's not time to get cute. You got here for a reason. So put your best foot out there. Put your best players out there. The stars should perform. They're going to get the opportunity, right? And if they don't get the opportunity, they're good enough that if they only get one catch, they can take it to the house, or they can score that touchdown. So you got to go with your studs. The Eagles are trying to get right. They're trying to figure things out. So I don't think that they're going to be the type to get cute and, pack it in and just run the ball or anything like that. I think they're going to continue to experiment and to try and score points throughout the entire game. It's a tight division. It's going to be a division game. It's going to be a little tough. Division games are always tough, but you got to start all your Eagles. You have to.
Let's go to the running back position for the Eagles. The Eagles don't seem to be interested in using DeAndre Swift, who's had a pretty good season coming over from Detroit. I can't explain it. We talk about it all the time here on Real Talk Fantasy. Opportunity trumps talent. You could be the most talented, most gifted running back in the world. Not saying that DeAndre Swift is that, but he's pretty good, pretty talented, and he's just not getting opportunity. Do we see that changing?
I don't see that changing. You guys already have another running back in that backfield taking up all those carries. Jalen Hurts had 82 yards, 13 carries, 2 touchdowns. As long as he's there, he's going to vulture all the, the push touchdowns on the 1 yard line, and he's going to dominate in terms of the yardage. So I don't see it changing anytime soon. It would be, I think, in the Eagles' best interest to start adding more carries for Swift, but as of right now, it seems the offense doesn't want to do it.
They're running the ball, but like Mike alluded to, it's not just traditional runs with the running back, up the A-gap, if you will. Jalen Hurts has been leading them in rushing. He led them in rushing last week, and it just seems like when we're talking about the Eagles, it just seems like they know what the final product should look like, and they're trying to find the right recipe to get there. Trying to it's like if you're trying to make Chick-fil-A nuggets, from scratch. You've had their nuggets many times if you're me, but it's hard to replicate, the right ingredients and just make it come out right, and it seems like that's what the Eagles are really trying to do. They know that they should be running the ball more than passing. They know that Hurts should be involved in the run game. They don't know how to run. They don't know how to, the coaching, the new offense doesn't know how to implement the run pass option, or they just simply don't want to because Jalen's hurt. but they're not running the same offense as last year. So when they do run Jalen, they're not running him right. They're not. He's not running only because he's unblocked. Excuse me. There's no one to tackle him. So that's the big problem with the Eagles. They're just not. They're not the same birds. It's not the same offense. It is a different offense, even though it's the same players. I don't understand how they can't get behind the offensive line and just maul, these next 3 games. And I think this offseason, I really want to get deeper into X's and O's so I can really look at what is the difference between the Eagles scheme this year and last year. Because, like, we all know it's the same players, but they're not performing the same. They won 10 games. They're going to make the playoffs. But everyone, the whole world knows it's not the same team. And I don't understand how we have this offensive line and we can't run the ball efficiently. And that's the problem. But they are running. Last week, I want to say it was like, you got to go back and look this up for yourself, vet the sources. But I want to say it was like 36 runs and like 31 passes, something like that. They're running more than passing. They are.
I don't know how many times they ran the ball. Jalen Hurts did have 31 pass attempts, though. That is accurate.
Yeah, they ran a lot, man. Here, I'll pull it up. If there's anything else anyone wants to say while I pull it up.
Well, I think the biggest difference is, you said it, they have the same players. The difference is Shane Steichen is now in Indianapolis. He's got the Colts on the verge of a playoff berth with a backup quarterback. And, just my outsider view looking in, Steichen was great at understanding the flow of the game. Brian Johnson hasn't shown me that, or whoever's making those calls on the offense has not shown me that. I think they're just really relying on Jalen getting them out of everything instead of reading the flow of the game.
It is Brian Johnson. He's the one making those calls in game for sure. I'm just looking at the game log now. Swift carried the ball 18 times. Gainwell carried it 6, really? And Goedert had a carry. I don't know, and Jalen carried the ball 13 times. So it was 38 carries, total team carries, so versus 31 for Jalen.
I'm surprised that number's so high for DeAndre Swift. It didn't seem like that much. How many yards did he have?
It doesn't, from watching the game, you wouldn't think it'd be that high, but it's because Jalen carried the ball half of the time, essentially. That, when you're watching the game, you're in the flow. It doesn't, when quarterbacks carry the ball, it doesn't seem like a real run play. Also, Jalen ran the ball. They ran a whole bunch to start the game and then stopped. That's the thing I don't understand either. Like, something's working.
The problem.
Make the other team stop you, right?
Well, that's the problem with the Eagles. They script their first 12, 15, 20 plays, and they, generally speaking, work really well. And then the other team adjusts. And what do you have to do when the other team adjusts? The Eagles have to adjust to the adjustments, and that's where this coaching staff and these players are falling short. So
and it's this is not an Eagles podcast, so I don't want to keep going deeper down this rabbit hole. But that is my biggest problem. It's the lack of adjustments. But Mike, something you alluded to earlier, we learned 7 games into his tenure that Sirianni is not a great offensive play caller in game. He admitted it himself, and he gave the play calling duties over to Shane Steichen. Right? And then, finished that season out. Next season, they went to the Super Bowl. Now Shane Steichen's gone. So that's a big problem. And, again, it's not an Eagles podcast, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but I love Sirianni. But if you're not a brilliant defensive coach, and you're, and your offense can't be brilliant, what are you bringing to it? I don't want, what are you bringing to the team? And I love him, and I love his record, but it's, I can love someone and also be real as well, and so that's something for maybe an off-season episode. We're going to be coming out and talking a lot more to you all in the off-season, but that's a big thing. You better be great at something, or else what are you doing here? That's everyone. That's me. That's Rob. That's Mike. That's you out there listening. You better be great at something, or start working on something, or else you're
you can always be replaced.
Yeah, or you're replaceable. So start being great. Yeah. Since this is like a playoff episode and, we can just spitball. Rob, some people that have been listening want to know, how do they reach out to us with start-sit questions, day up?
So, yeah, I mean, we're on YouTube. Post on YouTube every Thursday at noon. You can just – Facebook is probably the easiest. So if you get into the Facebook comments, I try and get to everyone from Thursday at noon until Sunday at kickoff. People DM me. If you want to find me on Facebook, Rob Brinkman, it's real easy. Throw me a friend request. I accept pretty much everyone because of my position here at A2D Radio. You want to slide in those DMs, ask me stuff. You want to post on my wall and ask me stuff. Totally fine. You'll get my dead honest opinion. You'll get my advice that I put on this show is, if I were in your situation, what would I do? And that's what you get every time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I do have 2 teams still playing somehow, some way. Wasn't my finest draft season this year. Pretty much all the running backs that I thought were going to be those mid-round steals, mid-round values, didn't pan out. I think my running back combo and both my teams still alive is Rashad White on Tampa and Raheem Mostert on Miami. I've been riding those guys in the ground because I stack on receivers, and that's what carries me. And I always try and have a dual threat quarterback. But yeah, check us out. Give it a like. Here you go. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn those notifications on. Follow A2D Radio on Facebook and YouTube. And we will, both us 3 here and the other great minds here at A2D Radio, I think we have over 20 shows now at the platform. We'll chime in and try and help you guys the best we can as we move towards Championship Sunday in fantasy. Let's progress towards the injury report this week. I think the biggest one that needs to be discussed, Jamar Chase going to miss the Saturday afternoon game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is obviously devastating for fantasy owners. It's devastating for me because the team that I have Jamar Chase on, I traded all my depth for Amon-Ra St. Brown at the trade deadline. So I don't have much going on with my bench, and Jamar Chase is now going to miss the semifinals. So I got a flex spot that is supremely up in the air in a semifinal match. But
Rob, see, you have Chase and he's out. So that's an easy answer. You got to put someone else in. I have Jake Browning, and I've been riding him the last 2-3 weeks, and he's still healthy. He's going to play. But, he's been living off of magic, and now he doesn't have his best rabbit pull out of his hat. What do I do at quarterback with Jake Browning? Do I start him and expect 20 points like in the average scoring league?
I would be not trying to do that. I don't know what your other options are or what's out there on free agent, but I would not be trying to do that. Pittsburgh.
Well, I wouldn't be doing it if I had other options. I'm trying to remember exactly who my backup is in that league. Rob, if you have it, it's the Pat's league, the one that Pat runs on Yahoo. I know I have at least another backup. I want to say maybe league. Kyler Murray might be another option. And Kyler, we know he has the running upside and everything, but he hasn't really been running like he used to, coming back off that ACL tear and everything. He has a decent matchup, and I started Browning over him last week because Kyler was going up against the 49ers. 49ers are hurting people, dude. Like, yeah, they are. I'm really hoping Dallas gets to sneak them first in the playoff. A little scouting, a little reconnaissance,
No, I'm gonna need y'all to go see the 49ers first. I want no parts of the Niners till the conference championship.
Yeah.
They're our kryptonite.
Dude, that game's going to be awesome this weekend. Going up against Baltimore. Because the one kryptonite, if there is a kryptonite for the Niners, the one kryptonite is a dude back there at quarterback that can scoot and run. Kyler Murray's given them problems in the past. So I think Lamar could give them some problems if they're willing to let Lamar run. But not like, you don't have to be design runs. It's that off script, not design stuff. That's what really gets them.
Is this your team? Pray for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even see Jake Browning on your roster. You're fine. You have Jared Goff and Kyler Murray. on that particular semifinal match.
I have too many
You're
teams.
golden there.
I have too many teams. Give me a second. Let me pull up the one where I have to start.
Well, to talk about what Jesse's talking about, if you want to see a great X's and O's game, this 49ers-Ravens game, watching Lamar Jackson versus Fred Warner is going to be that's going to be an epic battle right there, because Fred Warner is, in my opinion, the best linebacker in the league, and it's not close. He's the heart and soul of that 49ers defense, and he's going to be the one tasked to stop Jackson.
I love that. I mean, we're going to get into gambling and daily and prop bets for those who weren't fortunate enough to win their playoff matches last week. I love the Niners in that game.
All right, so I'm sorry. It's a different league, a deeper league, 14-team league, completely different. I have Browning, and I've been riding him. Again, 14-team league, so you can understand that. I have Sam Howell as well in that league, and that's who got me to Jake Browning, if you will. I've really been piecing together my season, but obviously it's been working out. If I'm still doing it right, but there's no one on the waiver wires. I had to drop Kyler Murray last week. There's a maximum of 2 quarterbacks roster on your team, and I had Murray and Howell, and they both had the same bye week.
Well, let me ask you this, Jesse: is Joe Flacco available in that league?
Yes, he is.
Pick him up, start him. Pick him up, start him.
All right.
20 points against the Rams, 26 points against.
Let me read down the top guys. I have it up right now, and then I'll put my phone back, and then we can talk. All right. So Joe Flacco is available for sure. Just in order of projected points on ESPN, right? It's DeVito, Derek Carr, Minshew, Stick, Mason Rudolph, and then you got Heineke, Flacco, those guys. So, right, so DeVito, Carr, Minshew, Stick, Rudolph, Heineke, those are the guys that are available. But Flacco is certainly available. He's just not projected by ESPN as high.
First off, those projections are a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
They're just a bunch of bullshit. People who want to take those projections like they're gospel are fucking idiots.
Well, so mathematically speaking, right, statistically speaking, very simple. The projection is never, it shouldn't really hit, right, for most projection models, because most projection models are just an average, right? So they take what happens at the top, what happens at the bottom, and they give you the middle, right? But what really happens one game at a time, day to day, is the top and the bottom, right? Normally, but keep going, Rob.
I wish they didn't even use your brain, use your common sense. Like, don't look at the projections. If you're making fantasy football lineup decisions purely based on those nonsense projections, there's no way you have a semifinal match this week.
Yeah.
Use your brain.
Don't believe us? Open up whatever app you use for your team. Go to the free agents. Look at how it's presented to you, and then just click roster percentage, and then order it by roster percentage. Look how different it is. Okay. Now go by, added this week or whatever it's called, percent change, whatever it's called on your platform. Mm-hmm. How many people, how many times the player that's been added most, put them at the top. Look how different that is than what just pops up when you just click it. It's all brainwashing. The files are in the computer. We live in a matrix. Don't be brainwashed.
You're scoffing at Joe Flacco. I don't really understand why. I get it. Like, if you have to start Joe Flacco, that's not ideal. He's 43. He's old enough to be my dad, honestly. But week 13 again
this week.
For sure. Maybe. I mean, week 13 against a hot Rams team, he put up 20 points. Week 14 against a Jacksonville team that's probably going to go to the playoffs, he put up 26 points. And then he played Chicago last week, got 20 points. So he's at least 20 fantasy points. I think it's one of my Yahoo teams. It's the pretty standard scoring system, 6-point touchdowns, 25 points a yard. He's better than Sam. He's by far the best option that you just read. He's playing Houston this week. They're pretty good on defense, but nothing that is going to be detrimental. Like, I'm not looking at the Texans and being like, oh my God, I can't start a opposing quarterback against the Texans. Like, they're not that type of team. Like, I'm starting Joe Flacco. Based on your options, like, Joe Flacco is your guy. Not even close. And if you're stuck at quarterback.
What do you think, Mike?
I'm going Joe Flacco. everything you just read, I'd start Joe Flacco. You know that Browns defense is going to get him the ball back, so he's going to have his opportunities. I mean, he's got some decent weapons over there, Flacco.
He
Yeah,
loves
definitely
David
decent
Njoku.
weapons. And
Mhm.
you said opportunity,
David
Mike,
Njoku.
and obviously we chime on opportunity all the time. They're throwing the ball with Joe Flacco.
David Njoku.
Rob,
Yeah.
I know you're reading through his fantasy points, but it might not pop up right there on Yahoo. But if you all go out there and look at Joe Flacco's stats, they've been throwing the ball like 40 plus times. Yeah, over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, he's definitely getting the opportunity. He's definitely an option, and that's an example of. I was just reading straight down, how the projections were coming to me, from the ESPN app. Rob and Mike, and maybe even myself, I still have to make the decision. We all wanted the guy that was number 20 off of that, right? So definitely make sure that you keep that in mind. Don't just go off of projections and off of generic rankings. Look into it. Think a little bit more into it when you're making these waiver wire decisions.
I think my honorable mention dumpster dive QB of the week would be, you read Gardner Minshew's name, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you want a younger, more mobile option, if that's the way you want to play, the Colts, they're on fire right now. Shane Steichen clearly knows what he's doing. Gardner Minshew is 100% on the same page from his time in Philly with Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
And Atlanta stinks. So that would be my honorable mention. But I think Joe Flacco.
What about
Joe
Easton
Flacco,
Stick? I don't know anything about Easton Stick. Like I know who he is. I know he's been a backup for a year now. But
I mean, is Keenan Allen even going to play out there for him? Like
I don't believe so, Rob.
I hope so. I hope Keenan Allen plays. I need him to play.
Yeah. Now, obviously monitor injury reports.
Yep.
Yeah, monitor injury reports. Most of you are going to be listening to this, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leading into the week. So those are the big days. Ignore Wednesday injury reports. I would honestly ignore Thursday injury reports. It's really that Friday one. Yeah, that's
you
the big
can't
one.
hold on, Jesse. You can't. The Chargers play the Bills on Saturday night, so the Wednesday, Thursday injury reports, everything's pushed up a day for that game. Keenan Allen.
You're right. Good call.
Keenan Allen did not practice on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, where's the team that I have them?
Tuesday would have been their walkthrough day, so that'd be fine.
Keenan Allen did not practice on Wednesday. Okay. So that's not a good sign.
Yeah. It's getting harder to read the tea leaves nowadays. I will say that. I got bit, by Gino, not in redraft leagues, but in some daily fantasy. Things of that nature. I'm hoping that because the leagues and Vegas are now tied together, that they stop that stuff. But it's not as easy as it used to be in terms of, just real straightforward reading the tea leaves. So I will say that. You got to find your Twitter followers. You got to really start following the right people and have them on notify. So that way, you can get the best and the latest injury information. And when I say that, I'm not saying Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. Yes, they're the most well known. They're also in bed, with the man, whatever the man is to you.
Keenan Allen. So tomorrow or Thursday, today, I guess, is D-Day for Keenan Allen. If he can get at least a limited practice, he'll have a chance to play. The one saving grace for Keenan Allen owners is that Keenan Allen is notorious for playing through, nicks and bumps, and he likes to play football. He's going to be out there if he's physically capable. Keenan Allen does not care that the Los Angeles Chargers, stink and are pretty much eliminated from the playoffs after they got lit up last Thursday by the Las Vegas Raiders. So Keenan, that's the only saving grace you have with Keenan Allen. He's tough, and he will play if he's capable. I am proceeding on that team through the rest of this podcast. I'm not going to have Keenan Allen on Saturday night. So I need a backup. This is the league where I have like guys like Jerome Ford is in the mix. DeAndre Swift is in the mix. Nico Collins did not play last week. He is on I'm fortunate that this team, I had a really good draft in this league and I have options, but none of them are as good as Keenan Allen. One of the main reasons I had a first round bye and am in the position that I am right now is because Keenan Allen is just a target monster. Now he doesn't have Herbert anymore. He's hurt. So I have guys like Cole Kmet. Jesse Palmer caught a touchdown last week. Josh Palmer, excuse me. Not Jesse Palmer. He's a weirdo from The Bachelor who used to play
if Nico Collins and Stroud play, Nico's your play.
Stroud
is out.
Stroud is out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see that he was officially out. I saw he was unlikely to play. Case Keenum played well, so I think Nico Collins is my guy, even without Stroud. But he does carry a questionable tag as of Wednesday night.
I think Cole Kmet might be a sneaky play for you. I kind of like Cole Kmet this week.
Yeah. I mean, look, I hate making definitive statements in fantasy because it's such a coin flip. So you got to go with your gut. You got to go with your heart. I could not. How are you going to start a tight end get cute in the playoffs?
I mean, I started 2 tight ends last week in a couple leagues.
Yeah. Including the league against me, I think. I think you started Ferguson in your flex.
Ferguson,
that one worked out. That one worked out.
Yeah, then I have the Grand Poobah of tight ends in that league. I have Travis.
I like how I turned right into a millennial girl. Yeah, I left your ass right on red. I got one final move and one final move only. That red receipt. Yeah, I'm holding on to that.
Yep. So, Rob, what were you saying? You said you had a couple tight ends.
Well, I have the Grand Poop. I have Kelsey. He's my tight end.
Okay.
So Kmet would be a replacement for them. So it's basically Swift.
How has Kelsey been? He hasn't been Kelsey of old.
He's been pretty good. He had a couple drops last week. Basically, if Taylor Swift's in the stands, he plays well, and if she misses the game for whatever reason, he doesn't play well.
God, watch that kryptonite, man. You know that
needs that boo, man. Women weaken legs, bro.
Yeah. I can't wait till the album comes out.
Oh, when they break up, she's playing him. She's playing him like a fiddle.
Kind of hope she is.
She needs more content.
I kind of hope she is to bring that dog back out, man. If she playing him, bro, he gonna play a few more years.
Well, really, the story of the Chiefs' offense is Rashee Rice has exploded and been the outside target. He is also
the offensive rookie of the year.
I hope so. I win like $3,000 if he gets voted in for the rookie of the year.
Let's go, Rocky.
I will. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm rooting for you, Rob.
Yeah. This little platform. Let's go. Rashee Rice is the offensive rookie of the year, and I know I have a little bit of money on him, but that's not why I'm saying it. Look at how he is changing the landscape of the AFC. The Chiefs do not have any receiving weapons, obviously besides Kelsey, right? Any wide receivers outside of Rashee Rice.
They don't even have guys that can line up.
Yeah.
And he's going to be their main focal point. He might be the only reason that they make it back to the Super Bowl, maybe even win it. They have no one else. Look at Kadarius Toney, been in the league for years, still can't line up on sides. Look at Marquez Valdez-Scantling. This is his second Hall of Fame quarterback that he's playing with, and the man still can't catch a ball, still can't get targets. Yet Rashee Rice walks in, plays 10 games, and is leading his team, leading the AFC in receiving for, over the last 4 or 5 weeks. The man needs to be.
I'll tell you what, in terms of the offensive rookie of the year, this will be, I believe will be CJ Stroud's third missed game if he does not play on Sunday, and all indications are he is going to miss the football game on Sunday. If they vote CJ Stroud rookie of the year when he's missed this many games, I am going to have a complete and utter meltdown. I know it's a different award I'm about to go off on, but Carson Wentz should have been the MVP in 2017.
Yes, he should.
And he tore his ACL, I think it was week 14 in Los Angeles, and they totally discounted what he did the first 3.5 months of the season and didn't give him the MVP award. Then you had last year, Jalen Hurts was the MVP of the league last year. I don't care what anybody says. he nicks his shoulder and they leave him out for precautionary reasons, and they give the award to Patrick Mahomes, who also sat out the last 2 games because the Chiefs had everything clinched up. I don't understand what the difference is if you're nicked up and missed the game, or like a missed game is a missed game. So Rashee Rice has played in all the games. He's totally changed the Chiefs' offense, and he should be Offensive Rookie of the Year. But it's going to be Stroud because it's fake news. All these awards are fake news. They are. They're fake news. Hall of Fame and season-long awards. They're all fake news.
Yeah, so grab your pitchforks, grab your signs, and walk right to the NFL headquarters. I believe they're located in North Jersey somewhere. You can certainly find it on your local Google. And I want a change.
So I got a situation for you guys. Because I did lose Chase, I got to start 2 guys out of these 3. Cortland Sutton, Puka Nacua, and Ken Walker. Obviously, one of them would be going into my flex, but losing Jamar Chase was a big blow. So
Seattle
I have all of them on multiple leagues, and Walker's to play.
I need 2 of the 3.
Oh, 2 of the 3. Okay. Well, Walker's definitely number 1 for me. Rob, you want to we'll just go with it like in our
who does Seattle play? I'm sorry.
The Titans.
Oh no, Seattle's on my shit list. So I don't even see their name no more.
It's not the Seahawks' fault the Eagles blow. So you can't hold the Eagles' struggles against Seattle. But
and I don't.
The Broncos are weird. The Broncos, I thought I had them figured out. Now I don't have them figured out. Cortland Sutton, they were on their way to going to the playoffs and being this easy to read fantasy offense. They're going to run the ball with Javonte Williams and just pepper Cortland Sutton with targets. And then now I don't know what they are. So I can't trust.
I've never seen something so unlimited but limited at the same time. And I've had all of them, the new Puka Nacua, Sutton. I've had both of them on. Actually, I think I have Sutton on every single roster. He was just one of my guys. Played him last week. Managed to get out of the week with a lot of teams. He's really been floated by touchdowns. His fantasy value has been floated by touchdowns. But the problem is, in real life, he has been their number 1 receiver. They really do try and force him the ball. They try and not pepper him with targets. They pepper him with targets for their offense, right? Peppering in their offense is, 7, 8, 9 targets. It's not the, double-digit targets. Sean Payton just doesn't want to do that. So that's a big problem with Sutton. It's just I look at his stat sheet and I know what he's been doing for my team, and I want to stay loyal to him and faithful, right? But I know it's smoke and mirrors. I know he has to get that touchdown, and if he doesn't get the touchdown, single digits.
I think my favorite of the I love the Saints are a lock, or the Rams are a lock tomorrow.
You got to play Puka, you have to.
The Rams are on fire.
Sutton's best game, in 2023 is 85 yards, a touchdown, 8 catches. Puka does that on some of his worst games in 2023.
Cortland Sutton has very little chance to be the number 1 wide receiver in Week 16 in terms of fantasy points.
That's another way to put it. I love Cortland Sutton. I've been a big proponent, and I'm so glad he bounced back and he's getting his real share of an offense, because ACLs can zap your athleticism, and he was a downfield guy. You know what I mean? He wasn't just I can run any route. I'm a last in this league type. So for him to to show that he can still do it at a consistent level, and especially on my fantasy teams, I love Cortland for it. But I think I have to start Puka.
You need 2, right?
Yeah, so 2 of the 3. So it'd be Walker and Puka.
Yeah, Walker's already, for me, it's no question.
I'm not going to be hot take McGee over here and say that Kenny Walker is going to be the number 1 fantasy running back this week, or Puka Nacua is going to be the number 1 wide receiver this week, but they both have better chances to accomplish those feats than Cortland Sutton does.
Okay,
That's how I usually look at these toss-ups. All right, we got to pay some bills. Let's hear from our friends at Royal Billiards. We'll be back with some gambling prop bets and some daily talk for those who have been eliminated from their fantasy football leagues. We'll be back right after this.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, there they are. Royal Billiards, located 515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary game room experience. Anything you need: pool tables, dartboard, shuffleboard tables, bars, bar stools, hot tubs, anything you need. Tell them A2D Radio sent you. Tell them Real Talk Fantasy sent you. Go visit them, 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, Pennsylvania. All right, so we tried to take a shot at the $1 million, $2.5 million with a super contrarian lineup. Didn't work out. I am here talking to you jabronis and not on a beach somewhere. So what we're going to do. We're going to take another shot at it this week with Daily Fantasy. So, Jesse, you kind of led the discussion last week and it talked me into the contrarian, like the super contrarian thing, which, I mean, your logic was there. We just didn't pick the right fades, which happens sometimes. We don't have the insider information that DraftKings insiders have, so we can't win money. But dagnabbit, one of these days we're going to hit, and it's going to be so sweet. So, Jesse, what would be your fade of the week? Who isn't going to be owned widely in daily fantasy?
So, Robert, are we doing like the whole slate? Are we doing Saturday? Or are we doing
question. Yeah. I usually look when I'm picking out like the pools that I want to join. Like I try and look for like a $1. Usually I went a little wild last week because I didn't have that many fantasy playoff matchups. I only made the playoffs in 2 of 5, but I'm looking for like $1, $2 entry where I can win. Why don't we start with Sunday? There's 9 games. Here's a $3, $800,000 prize pool. So Sunday games, the Monday games, in case you're living under a rock, is the Raiders and the Chiefs at 1, the Eagles and the Giants at 4, and the Ravens and Niners at 8:30 in the Monday Night Football slot. And then you have the Saturday slate, which is Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Buffalo and San Diego. And then Thursday is the Saints and the Rams. So we'll go with Sunday. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit if there's time for the Monday slate. But nothing about the Saturday or Thursday game excites me at all in terms of filling out a daily fantasy lineup. So we'll go with the Sunday matchup. Obviously, like who's going to be owned? Like what's the contrarian play here? How can we win the money?
Who's not going to be owned? That's the question. Because we're talking about the big pools. We're talking about everyone in America makes one lineup, you as well. Everyone puts $1 in. And if you hit, you hit. If you don't, you don't. Right? You know, if it's 1v1, if it's just Mike versus me, all right, then you pick the absolute best lineup. You know, you don't try and be cute. You don't try and be contrarian. You got to make sure everyone at least puts some points up. But, you know, if all of us are picking, everyone, a lot of people are going to have Mahomes, right? A lot of people are going to have Tyreek Hill. Yeah, they're great players. That's why. Here's my question. Is anyone going to play the Jets quarterback?
No, and neither am I. That's too
no.
We're not doing anything with the Jets. I text my buddy Mike. He runs a fantasy baseball league that I'm in, and he's been losing on the Jets every week. Finally, I decide text him out of the group chat and be like, Mike, you got to stop betting on the Jets. You just got to do it. I text him every Sunday morning.
No one's going to play the Patriots quarterback, but they're not going to put up any yards. What about the
I
Panthers?
think that's a Sunday. The Patriots are on Sunday night, so that wouldn't be included in this entry.
Jesse, you're going far too contrarian.
The whole day.
Like, let's reel it in.
Guys, we talked about it. We talked about him earlier in the show. Give me a Browns. Give me a Brown stack. Give me a Brown stack.
Pools.
Yeah, I'm doing a Brown stack.
You go Flacco and Njoku.
And I'm gonna throw Amari Cooper in there too.
That would be the stack.
And then I'm gonna pick the cheapest,
I mean, look, I've definitely seen
defense I can.
I've definitely seen a few millionaire lineups with, one quarterback and then like 3 receiving options for that team, and that's the week that team happens to like throw for 6 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the lineup that really, hits the
million. Did you get the Colts defense?
I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals defense against Justin Fields, who is talented, but puzzling at times. Who the heck is going to have the Arizona Cardinals defense? If they get a couple pick six, couple turnovers, that's how you're going to win. You know what? I'm up in the ante. I'm going into the $20 one. I already won. I know it.
Let's go. Who's your favorite? I mean, who's your favorite wide receiver, period? Like, regardless of price this week. Like, I mean, is it Stephon Diggs against the Dolphins or Hill against the Cowboys? Does
Stephon Diggs isn't playing the Dolphins.
So Diggs is not. The Bills are playing the Chargers.
Excuse me, I meant the Cowboys slot receiver.
What, CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb.
So we got
either CeeDee Lamb, against the Dolphins, or Tyreek Hill against the Cowboys. I'm just reading off matchups. Who's your, does Mike Evans continue his Hall of Fame career and put up big numbers, against the Jaguars? Does your boy Nico Collins come back and somehow shred the Browns at home?
I'm not going to pick Nico Collins because I'm probably going to forget I filled this out. And if Nico Collins doesn't play, I'm going to have no chance of winning. So we're going to avoid guys with the questionable tag. Also, fun fact, probable doesn't exist anymore. Just found that out this week.
Correct. It's just, questionable or out. Yeah. They got rid of it like a couple of years ago.
Been asleep on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jonathan Taylor going to play?
I think Zach
don't have him on the team, so
It's Wednesday, December 20th, and he practiced today. Now, Wednesday is usually a walkthrough day. Everyone practices if they are even possibly able to walk. So it doesn't mean that much for a Wednesday practice, but he did practice today.
All right, so I got my Brown stack with Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and Joe Flacco. Who's going to play an additional tight end in their flex? Trey McBride has been killing it. He's absolutely bailed. The 2 leagues that I'm alive in, he's my tight end. He totally bailed me out of that idiot Kyle Pitts. Totally bailed me out. The guy's a stud. So I'm going to go with Trey McBride in the flex. And we're gonna get wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the gift that keeps on giving, just an absolute target monster. We're gonna put him in there. I need the dumpster dive on running backs because I'm running out of money. So I need 2 dumpster diving running backs.
With Ty Chandler value.
If you had put Trevor Siemian in there, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not. No. No.
What's Ty Chandler's value?
Didn't you just lose a fantasy game because Trevor Siemian and those idiot Jets quarterback can't get Garrett Wilson the ball?
No, I lost because I didn't start Mostert.
Key thing is, though, you lost.
I lost 1, yes.
It's not the first
I might
time
win some. I might win some, but I did lose 1.
Playoffs.
I made playoffs in 7 out of 10 leagues. And that's just redraft. That's not even dynasty.
Let's I think it might be.
I only lost one playoff game too. For it's week 1, but yeah.
Sleeper receiver. Sleeper receiver. I'm gonna have to dumpster dive on receiver because I don't see how I can get 2 running backs under 5,400 and have a chance to win the money.
Is Ty Chandler? What's his value?
Ty Chandler against the Detroit Lions? Sure. He's 5,600, so everyone's kind of caught onto him. That's a little too expensive for me. Yeah, we're going to have to dumpster dive on wide receiver. Let's go all the way down.
It's definitely a tough week to dumpster dive on running back. There weren't any big major injuries, right? That made it a glaring, easy. Oh, let me play him like a Ty Chandler last week. There were injuries, and he got to start after the prices were set.
Well, if you are going to enter a Saturday only daily fantasy contest, I would 100% have Trent Irwin on your team. The league that I have Jamar Chase in, I was able to grab Trent Irwin post waivers. So, I mean, just if you have Jamar Chase, you can grab him. Just do it in case Jamar Chase does miss Championship Sunday as well. The AC joint, that's tough. It's really painful. And I feel like re-injury risk. Like if he does go out there and play Championship Sunday, he might not finish the game. So that's just something to monitor. So
yeah, I'm throwing together just a little BS lineup just to see what we could put together. And this is the Sunday slate though; it's not the Saturday slate. But Trey Sermon is the discount bargain basement running back this week. He got all the touches last week for Indy. We'll see if Jonathan Taylor comes back. I know like we said, he practiced on Wednesday. I just don't see why Jonathan Taylor would play. Like I know they finally paid him and everything, but like
because they're in the playoff hunt.
They're the 7th seed right now.
Because they're in the playoff hunt.
He don't care. Dude was fine with sitting out the whole season.
But then he got paid.
And he ain't done all that much. He didn't play last week.
He was hurt.
If I were him, I would seriously consider if I'm hurt too. And I would make the best decision for my career.
All right. What about Jerick McKinnon? Is Pacheco still out?
Well, it's a Monday game, so this is
not bad.
Yeah, that's a tough part. Any bets? I mean, have you looked at the slate?
Yeah, I'm hot on the Rams tomorrow night, big time. I think it's 4.5, laying 4.5. The Saints, they stink. Derek Carr stinks. They're on the road. The Rams are hot. I think the Rams coast in that game. I think the Rams, this is why I talked about on my Monday show on the Sports Hounds with former Major League Doug Minkiewicz and Brad Ryer. If I can't get the 1 seed, I would almost rather be the 5 seed and play the Saints, the Falcons, or the Bucks as opposed to playing the Rams in the first round. The Rams mean business. They have a great coach. They have a great quarterback. They have weapons. And they're really coming together in the trenches. I love the Rams. And then Monday night, Christmas night, I love the Niners.
I actually think the Rams are a buzzsaw waiting to happen to somebody in the playoffs. They're going to get
Cowboys?
somebody Cowboys will finish in the 5 seed. You guys got the inside track to the division, so we wouldn't have to play
now all of a sudden the Rams are hot, and the Eagles are good, and now the Eagles are good.
Let me turn my speaker up. I'm getting a little old. I can't hear as well as I used to.
As of right now, you guys have the inside track to the division. If not, you do. So as I said, I think the Rams are going to be a buzzsaw to somebody like the Lions, Eagles. I mean, if not, we'll take them on if we have to. It's no big deal.
I'll take
the second seed, and we can take them if you want to drop your 4th straight game.
Nah, I'll take the division and the subtle jab.
Mm-hmm. So, but I do think the Rams are a team that's starting to figure it out at the right time. And here's a little side note about the Rams. You know how they pushed it in a couple of years ago, went all in to win that Super Bowl. Next offseason, they will be only 11 teams with more salary cap space. They have 10 draft picks. They got their first round pick next year. That's a team that's rebuilding and have rebuilt quickly. Stafford has already said he's coming back, so that could be a team that's challenging next year for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, especially if the NFC is a coin flip. Yeah, obviously the top heavy, should I say, more so than a coin flip.
And they've also rebuilt that offensive line. They've got young talent at the receivers. Like, they've done a great job with draft picks that are in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round to rebuild that team they're showing up.
They've done well, finding trash and making something out of it. Here's the problem though, and here's why I'm not scared of them in the playoffs. They don't have a defense.
Right now.
They don't have a defense.
Fair. The Eagles don't have much of a defense either.
We ain't talking about the Eagles. We're talking about the Rams. Like, why are you so obsessed with the Eagles, Mike?
I'm not. I'm just saying you can't make that statement when you guys have the worst 3rd down defense.
Yes, I can. We're defending NFC champs. I can make all the statements I want.
All right.
Rams don't have a good defense. You know who else doesn't have a good defense?
Who's that?
Cowboys.
We're leaky. We've got a lot of injuries.
All right.
I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Our defense has been shaky.
That's right. So, look, this second place is reserved for a shaky, leaky defense.
My dog of the week, just to put the cap on my gambling picks for the week, I love the Rams. I love the Niners on Christmas night. And my dog of the week, so I'll give you a Thursday, Saturday. So Thursday, wait, I got a Monday game. I got the Thursday game. And whenever the Chargers are playing the Bills, that's my dog of the week.
Saturday night.
That's my dog of the week.
Yeah,
not going to win.
11.5 on DraftKings.
Is it? It was 12.5 at lunch. I like that better. It was 14. I'm not one to really jump on early lines. Never really have been. Just because, you don't know what's going to happen. But I wish I would have jumped on that 14.5 I saw when the lines first came out. Chargers fresh off that 63-21 loss to the Raiders. But, I mean, they're men over there. They have a new coach. I love betting teams that switch coaches. Brandon Staley was a bum. That guy was no good.
Yeah.
And not only did the Chargers coach get fired, their GM got fired too. So they're playing for jobs.
Yeah.
So they need to feed their family next year.
Only weird part is the random stuff I've heard and continue to hear is the players still like Brandon Staley. You know what I mean?
He was probably a big pushover and never held anybody accountable. That's probably why.
Yeah, but a lot of times you get that boost when they get that tyrant out. The guy that no one likes out. Josh McDaniels.
No one. I guarantee you, no one on the Los Angeles Chargers liked losing being down 42-0 at halftime to the Raiders and losing 63-21. Nobody liked that. Maybe, and if they do like that, then they need a really big overhaul. So I like the Rams -4.5. I like, I think I saw the Niners were 5.5 as of Wednesday night favorites. Love that.
Yeah, 5.
5. I like that even better. I think they got the Ravens by a touchdown. Ravens are really good. So that line is telling to me that the Niners are really good.
Yeah, if the 49ers cover that and beat the Ravens by a touchdown, is there any point in playing the Super Bowl?
And there's a lot of talk about Lamar Jackson. He's like 18-1, I think, against NFC teams in his career.
I don't do trends. I don't believe in that.
Well, I like to take nonsense trends like that and fade them.
Okay.
And then
how does it work? How does it work the last 18 times against Lamar?
No, this is the first time that I'm sticking I didn't even know he was that good against NFC teams until going into this week. Didn't even realize.
What was it? PD Sunshine's record against the Eagles caught me by surprise like Saturday evening. I don't know why he was like 7-0, now 8-0 against the Eagles. Did you know that? Did you hear that?
What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Pete Carroll. Sorry.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Petey Sunshine. But yeah, Pete Carroll. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was 7-0 against the Eagles. Now he's 8-0.
Well, the Eagles haven't beaten the Seahawks in 30 years. It's crazy.
Yeah. And counting.
So, I don't know. Got a few minutes left here. You guys liking anything? Prop bets, gambling picks. I have finalized my daily fantasy lineup, so I will read that as we sign off and go off the air, hopefully.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't even looked at the lines. NFL lines are tough. I gamble to win. I don't really gamble just to gamble. So it's tough to beat NFL lines. You did mention, Rob, the line was this earlier. I like it there. I don't like it now. Write down the lines that you like. Watch the games. Follow the lines live because you're probably going to get a chance to get back in at a better number than what you really liked before. I don't know. There's nothing I love out here, to be honest. I'm scrolling through right now. I don't know. I like the coin flip games. I think. You think the Cowboys or the Dolphins are better? Like stuff like that.
I usually
Cowboys are terrible on grass.
I want to see if the Dolphins' offensive line can get healthy. The
whole offensive line's been not practicing all week, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's Wednesday, but so we'll see. But I want to see if their line's healthy and ready by the weekend. Once you start watching the Dolphins and hearing about them and reading about them, they're dancing. Like they're literally like dancing. So you have to have your right dance partner. You can't just pick anyone up off the street and try and perform a choreographed dance.
I have a slight lean on the Cowboys in that game. Don't feel great about it. Won't put any real money on it. But Jesse, we're in that gambling fantasy league that we're in. That'll probably be one of my games.
I agree with you there, Rob. I would take the plus money on the Cowboys. I don't think the Dolphins are great. I think they're both playoff teams. You know what I mean? Like, middle of the pack, if not higher of the pack, playoff teams.
Mike,
so yeah, I would take the points.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not staying anywhere. I'm getting as far away from that game as possible. These Cowboys on grass, just not a good look. I do like Darren Waller this week. I think he's going to have quite the game.
It's not a bad prediction because the Eagles don't cover the middle of the field well.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really cover the outside of the field well.
They're going to have to start trading some coverage over Bradbury.
They don't
out there.
The only thing the Eagles do well is they're decent against the run. Even though I think those stats are front loaded when they were.
Yeah, look,
really
this is the worst game of the year. Washington at the Jets. No teams quit. They both quit.
If you bet on that, if you wagered your hard-earned money on the Jets and the Commanders, like 1-800-GAMBLER, like we'll get you some help.
Rob, what's that number again?
Okay. 1-800-GAMBLER. Tell them you know me. They'll get you right into the.
They said my bet's
right to the front of the line. Yeah. Last thing, I have finalized my daily fantasy lineup. About to be a millionaire this time next week.
Let's go.
Joe Flacco. Jahmyr Gibbs has been on fire. Devin Singletary. Stroud's not playing. They're going to lean on that run game. Dameon Pierce ain't it. Devin Singletary has been really a darling in terms of fantasy football this year. He saved a lot of teams. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari Cooper, Jamal Agnew. Electric in the return game. Maybe he can make something happen. He's right around that $3,000 mark. So score a touchdown somehow, Jamal. Then I'm going double tight end with Njoku and McBride and the Cardinals defense. Let's go. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Real Talk Fantasy. For Jesse King, Mike Everly, I'm Rob Brinkman. Good luck in your semifinal matchup. We'll see you next week for Championship Sunday preview. Peace out, everybody.